Hello, everyone. Welcome to C-Suite Talks. We speak with industry leaders, introducing you to some of the most interesting people and businesses today. And today is no exception. We are focused on women, money, and power, as well as diversity in all areas. Welcome to C-Suite Talks. I'm Beth Hilbing, co-CEO of C-Suite, along with...
Hi, I'm Dianne Gubin, co-CEO of C-Suite with Beth. And today on C-Suite Talks, we're diving deep into speaking with Serin Silva. She is a powerhouse behind the scenes of some of the most dynamic women-led companies in tech and creative businesses. And she isn't your typical coach. She's actually a strategic advisor with Fortune 1000 business chops. Think Williams-Sonoma, Oracle, UCLA, and she pairs her work with something that's really rare in the C-suite, and that's intuitive insight, emotional intelligence, and deep human understanding. So welcome, Serin. We're so happy to speak with you today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Great. Well, tell us, do you want to add a little bit to that intro? Anything you'd like to say?
What I would say is, women, money, and power. Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I'm also a coach, to really support specifically women in all of their endeavors, whether it be leadership or fulfillment and growth in their career trajectory. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And Serin happens to be one of our C-suite coaches, executive coaches. You can find her on our website as well. So she's been fabulous, been with us a couple of years. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. Yes. We've heard such amazing things about you, besides the work we've done with you.
Thank you.
Which is great. So you work with powerhouse women who have made it in the C-suite, but they also find themselves kind of drowning in the complexity and the seriousness of life and what's going on. So what do you find is really going on behind the C-suite doors that nobody really talks about?
I think it's the human element that I see that's most profound. What I mean by human element is, how do we manage and navigate stress? How do we manage and navigate relationships within business? I was just on a call a few moments ago talking to a woman about the complicated dynamics at her company. So I think the biggest element and wild card in any business is the humans, the human capital required to drive business forward in a time of great change.
And I think there are and not make it a toxic work environment, right?
Exactly. I see a lot of executive women who are exhausted, burned out, but there's such vision and clarity around what they want to do. So part of my job is to remove some of those obstacles and blockers and be a safe sounding board and thought partner for them to help navigate some of these intricacies. Because sure, AI is here and it's not going away, but there's still humans required to work efficiently and work cooperatively inside of a company.
Do you find that people are using AI as an excuse or as a way out of work or doing their job, or they're making an impact their career decisions?
I think there's a number of ways AI is impacting leadership and companies. First, it's a big disruptor, which is human beings. It can, some people are excited, they're thrilled, they want to learn more. Some people are fearful. Is this going to take my job? What's my place? Right. And so, I think the face of what business is going to look like is really going to change. And I find that actually really exciting. I find it exciting to want to build the new thing and to support women and kind of leading that charge.
Yeah. So you talk about leading through the fog. What does that mean in terms of the work you're doing, or just define it for us?
Yeah. Leading through fog means you still have to fly the plane. You can't necessarily see where you're going. So what can you count on, right? What can you count on? Mm-hmm. And then I think where the intuitive insight piece comes in is, what do we know, right, that we need to kind of run with as we lead, right? Well, I know that they're not necessarily the right hire. On paper, they look good, but based on what's going on in the business situation, they're not the right fit. I was just on another call talking about that. We're trying to read the tea leaves on AI for one particular client that I'm working with, because it's disrupting their entire business model. Right. Okay. How do we rebuild what the company looks like? It's a AI data model company to meet the need of a changing market.
Oh, wow. So you're part strategic advisor and part intuitive guide. So how does your intuition flow into the work that you're doing?
It's almost autopilot, to be honest with you. I just the way I liken it when I'm working with women is you've got your intellectual layer, your academics, everything that you've known to date, right? Everything you've learned. Then there's the inner voice or inner knowing. It's like, that's not the best decision for the business. And then there's a somatic layer, which is your physical body, right? And how we address tension and stress through those channels.
And do you weave that into your sessions, all those elements as well?
Yeah.
And are people adopted to it? Do they embrace especially the wellness piece of it, or are they hesitant to do that?
Well, it's based on the relationship that I established with the coaching client. So I kind of meet them where they are. If they're really presenting as very stressed, we will go to somatic tools to slow the nervous system down. I believe, and I wrote a piece on this recently, that nervous system regulation is going to be a leadership skill. And that essentially means how we calm ourselves down so that we can be neutral, so that we can make sound decisions. Right?
Yeah. So when you're hired by corporations to come in at the executive level and coach, what do you find that they are looking for or that they're needing help with?
Right now, it seems to be a lot of operational leadership, like I was just mentioning the business model. Sometimes it can be people problems. Sometimes it can be needing to lead with gravitas and confidence. I had a client earlier this week. They're trying to decide who to lay off. How do you lead through that? And how do you continue people buying into the vision and then motivating them to do the work? So I would say it's usually something around the strategy for the business and then how the leadership team shows up to execute on that revised vision.
No, that's great.
So you talk about training and templates. We love all of our templates, right? But they're really leadership problems, not tools. And it's like putting a Band-Aid on a systemic issue. So what's broken and how can we help our leaders today?
What's broken is that there is no playbook for where we are right now. And people keep returning to the old playbook to try to solve a new world problem. And so I think we're all being asked collectively to rely on our own human ingenuity, right? I think we think the answer is in the machine. Well, if I Google it or if AI creates it, well, then I'm done. It's like, no, we still need you to think about how you're going to roll this out to people, right? We're both the answer and the problem, if that makes sense.
What do you think in leaders, what do you think skill set you're seeing that's not really resonating, that needs to be there in the emerging leaders and the upcoming leaders?
Or leaders in general.
Yeah.
What do I think needs to be
needs to be there. Yeah, worked on.
Stress management, nervous system regulation.
Oh, we don't have any stress.
Right. Because it's not the work; it's always the people, right?
It's the people and how you respond to information, and then how you can internalize that. I practice radical acceptance both in my business and my personal life, which is when something happens, instead of yelling "the sky is falling," it's like, okay, sit with it, and then how do I want to respond, right? I think a lot of times people get stuck in a narrative. I think it's human nature, right? If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people need to feel safe and secure. And the levels of disruption that we're seeing, which I think are not all good or not all bad, shake that foundation for human beings of safety, security, and trust. We talk about trust in leadership. We talk about resiliency in leadership. Yes, we need to continue working on those skills, but it all comes from this place of needing to feel safe and secure. And in order for a leader to be able to lead others, they need to feel that within themselves.
Right.
Do you find
if they don't?
Yeah.
And the change, to me, there's always change, right? We've always dealt with change.
Right.
But it just feels like there is so much rapid change around the whole world. And that's impacting all the corporations. Because I heard Microsoft's laying off, and they haven't laid off in a while. So.
Right. And it's not just that. It's just, I think people are nastier in the workplace. I think people are not as respectful as they used to be, just as a general comment.
Yeah. I can tell I can tell that what I have evidence of what you're saying, because the number of lawsuits has really gone up in the workplace.
Oh, interesting.
And sometimes I'm hired to work with the leaders to kind of stem the flow of that. People are more angry. I think COVID did not help, right?
No, because it created all this isolation and people were at home, and I know.
Right. And then
then right after COVID lifted, it's like no one wanted to come out.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Right. Well, who wants to deal with traffic, right?
Except for me, I was like out there right away. I'm one of those, I didn't want to wear a mask, And Dianne was the opposite.
It's like, I'll never forget,
we went on a business trip and she had her hand wipes and was wiping down the train.
Are you kidding? I travel so much, I still do that.
And I was laughing because I'm like, she needs to wipe down the whole train.
I wipe it down. I still, when I get on a plane, I put on a mask because I don't want to get sick when I get anywhere.
I'm like that too, actually. Dianne and I would travel well together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Then I walk out of the airport,
if you had me, you'd be wiping me all down. Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. So what you do, let's go back to your work. So your work is you help executives, particularly women, turn chaos, which we just talked about, into clarity and even double revenue. So what are some of the unexpected transformations that you've seen in your work?
Women are stronger, more grounded in their leadership. It's then open that, because I believe fundamentally that the root of everything is lodged in that individual's sense of well-being, purpose, and fulfillment. They're talented, they're high achieving, they're already leading, but there's a lot on the plate to deal with, and there's a lot to manage. And I think I understand that as someone who's walked the walk and who's raised children while, running multi-million-dollar accounts, right? So it's really about that root and essence of a person. So the work that I do is bespoke. Like I don't have like a bunch of videos, nothing against people who do, like, hey, go watch these videos and come back to me. You'll be a changed leader. I get to the core. So for example, yesterday I was coaching someone and she was talking about an initiative that had failed. And I said, what is the root? And I had her laddered down to what was it within her and her leadership style that was creating this chaos, essentially.
Ooh.
And then just reflecting that back.
Ooh, and then how receptive things?
Yeah, how receptive are they to that?
Yeah, and
she was very receptive.
And what were the shifts?
Yeah, she's very receptive.
Just because we ladder down and we figure out, okay, this is my root cause, then what do you do with it, right?
Well, I got a call from her manager who said she's a totally different person. What did you do?
Good.
So
she said, what did you do? She said, it's like magic. She's like stepped up. Yeah.
Is it more about the energy that person's putting out and
it's their energy. It's a sense of being heard. It's fulfillment. And then obviously I give them tools and frameworks and models to use to address business situations, right? So, and everything's custom that I do. I will not give people a bunch of templates. Yeah.
So do you have a system or a back end that you house all the notes and everything that come out of session so that they have access to that too? Okay, that's really good. How many women do you find are in leadership positions that feel or feel that they have the imposter syndrome?
I would say like 20%. Okay. I think it has to do the stage that they're at. If they're pretty senior, they've dealt with that. If they're newly promoted, then definitely. And it shows up like a little bit of, they almost think it's a separate person. The imposter, they're like, I'm not that person. And so we work because I'm a big believer in you customize your own leadership style. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You have to do it within the confines of the culture and the organization that you're in. But we'll build that. Like, I don't want to give somebody words that are going to only make them feel more like an imposter. Right?
So for women who are listening, who might feel like they're barely holding it together and they've got like ginormous things coming down the pike, what's the first shift you would recommend for her to lead differently, just given everything you've said?
an awareness of how they come across.
Oof.
Yeah. Sometimes people are not aware of how they come across.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that self-awareness piece is really essential. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think we get caught up with ideas and stories around how we're showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happens where someone doesn't understand you, or they're like, well, this person was this, that, the other.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, wait, well, why did they think that? Well, how are you leading? So I think self-awareness is the first kernel. And then I think the second would be a sounding board, having a safe place to talk about their leadership and what they're grappling with and the personalities that they're grappling with. And sometimes that'll also happen around acquisitions.
Mm.
Right? You get two cultures coming together. So I'll see that sort of confusion. Imposter syndrome can happen sometimes in a more senior leader when they're in a newly merged organization too.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Are the companies looking for different skills? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I would say they're looking for AI fluency.
Okay.
Well, so doesn't that mean just putting prompts into ChatGPT these days? I mean,
no, it means no.
I mean, I can do that.
It means re-architecting the business processes inside the company to use AI. So I did some interviews a few months ago talking to leaders at companies such as Google, Workday, Telesign, and they were given mandates to rebuild processes using AI and agentic AI as a cost-cutting measure and to do workforce reduction. So you need to understand how it works, how to use it as a strategic thought partner. I'll say I use it about 40 to 50% of the time in my average workday right now. And I'm a party of one. Because it can be a really great accelerator.
Right. Well, if it only did calendar invites.
It probably can. Probably can. You have to, you could build something to do that, actually.
So what are you focused on this year?
Yes.
I mean, what are some of your 2025 goals?
And initiatives.
My 2025 goal is to continue to learn about AI from a leadership standpoint and how it can be used as a transformational tool inside of business. And to advocate that with the female leaders that and provide an on-ramp for them to learn. And that's the first thing. The second I'm really passionate about is for people to use their own insight and not be 100% reliant on a machine or what they hear from someone. It amazes me how people go through great lengths to hire amazing people to work at these companies, and then they really limit the scope of what those people can do for whatever reason. And it's like, you hired a talented person and you went through hell to get them. Why do you limit the scope?
Right.
How can we empower you to feel more comfortable so you can open them up? So open them up so that they can do some of the stuff and they can grow and you can grow. Right. And so yeah, AI, empowerment, tapping into your own insight. I think those are the main ones.
Well, that's good. That's really
beautiful.
Good. So how do people find you?
Yes.
Serin?
Follow me on LinkedIn.
Right.
I'm really passionate about my presence there, and I'm thankful to C-Suite also for the relationship and the exposure. But yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. You can also go to my website, serinsilva.com. You can sign up for a free session, 15 minutes with me. 15 minutes can be all the clarity you need.
Yeah,
right?
It's amazing when you have a really good, experienced executive coach, how they can lead you and help you do that. And, I was telling Dianne, I did my 5-year plan, and I hadn't done that in a long time and broken it into all the different pieces of my life and work and philanthropic and all that. And I think we forget that to do those things for ourselves, and it's good to work with a coach to walk that through too, and to do it for yourself, not with your spouse, whatever, but do it for yourself.
Yeah.
So.
I do a similar exercise. I do it as a pie.
Okay.
So how many pieces, how big of a slice of work do you want? How big of a slice of personal, etc. So we should be looking at it that way.
That's beautiful. Yeah, mine's
I know
way
you
out
could
of
work
whack.
forever. I mean, I could just work 24 hours a day, seven days a week, all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you, Serin Silva, strategic advisor and executive coach. We want to thank our sponsors, Conresnick Advisory Assurance and Tax Services, City National Bank, Cigna Health, Uncle Nearest, and C-Suite Executive Search. If you're hiring your team, call us. We have 25,000 plus in our network, and we'd love to help you with your executive search. And thank you for listening. And Dianne, why don't you wrap us up?
Yes, thank you. So, Serin, we really appreciate you today. Thank you. And thank you to our listeners.
You're welcome.
Yes. And do hit the subscribe button, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you get your podcasts. Leave us a review. Follow us on social media. That's LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And we love hearing from you. Send us an email. Send one to Beth. Okay. Beth at C-Suite. And that's C as in cat, sweet like sugar, SWEET.org. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great
Thank
time.
you.
Have a good day and a good weekend.
Thank you.